Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're working on this big old bracelet here. This is a request from somebody out there on Facebook. A friend of the channel, Debbie, mentioned me in it, and it was kind of funny. The person who requested is like, well, I didn't see, AWOL having made this pattern, and I think what Debbie was meaning to do was to tag me in it to get me to start working on it. So I did. I put together the pattern. Didn't take a whole lot of time. It's a kind of simple design overall. However, that said, the bracelet itself is a little bit tricky. Kind of once you get it going, it does tend to feel a bit easier because it's just repetitive nature. It doesn't seem like it's all that bad. But getting it started, getting it going, did definitely have me kind of questioning, like, am I doing this right? Am I in the right spot? But because the pattern repeats itself, like, I kept looking at the same chunk of pattern for quite a while until I was basically nearing the end of it. And then, well, that became a whole different thing. It turns out getting this started, not so bad. Trying to make sure that you get both sides even and in the right place and ending like it's supposed to, yeah, that turned out to be a lot harder than I had anticipated at all, because you don't have lines that are coming out to the edges that make it easy to see where it ends. In fact, it's off of one of these gold lines that kind of signals, come out from there, and that's where it kind of ends, which was a little bit tricky to have worked around and figured out. So getting near there, I had to blow the pattern up and really study it and make sure that I was doing it right, and try to, I just didn't want to overextend it. It's already, the blue strings that go down the middle, they just absolutely get used up. So if I make it a little bit longer, I might have ran out of string, because again, my templates are based on the size of an average person's wrist, and the notion that I can use any string with any kind of pattern and it will work out. So and again, in case you're new here, I cut my string length into 1/3 of a skein. So a skein, and this isn't my fault, it's 8 meters. That's because the floss is made in Europe, so they don't measure it in yards, they measure it in meters. And I divide that into thirds, and that's what makes it capable of being long enough. The yellow also gets used a lot, but it doesn't seem like it was as bad, maybe because it's the dark blue started at a higher point, or maybe the string was just inherently a little bit longer, but they didn't seem to be too bad at all. So by the time I got to this far into the bracelet, I was already thinking, okay, this isn't so bad. I got it going. This is pretty good. And you'll see that I do a fair amount of segment knotting, just kind of work on an area at a time. Just makes it a little bit easier, I think, as well as kind of keeping track of like where you are, what you're doing, kind of works out. But again, I was staring at pretty much the same area of the pattern because of the way it just repeats. Just making sure that I knew how many knots past so when the dark blue crosses over the dark blue, it's 2 solids and then one that goes different directions. Like, I had to keep kind of reminding myself that, just to make sure that I didn't extend that row any further than it was supposed to go. And it's little things like that, knowing that the gold only goes in 4 rows, and there's a lot of like little things to look for as you go along. Yeah. Oh, and I try to make sure that like on those the edge where the dark blue is, it always goes outwards, right? It's the first knot trades with the light blue and then goes to the outside. I made that kind of consistent just to kind of make the edge real nice, and it looks really cool, especially on the back. It looks pretty neat. It is a pretty bracelet, I have to admit. It is really pretty. I didn't have the colors to make it like the original photograph. Plus, I really don't like doing that. Like, we already know what it looks like from the original photo. So doing it in some different colors, I thought would be fun. So that's where this palette came from. There's, I don't remember how, wait, I think I can count. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. 16 strands of blue, of the light blue in it. And that's the part that kind of threw me off, is because how many skeins of floss I needed just to do the light blue. So once I discovered that I had that in the light blue, then it was a question of the contrast. What am I going to use to be a contrast? So I went with the dark blue, and then I needed one more color. And yeah, I was really like, I had some bright blues or some, you know, like I once had considered maybe a purple or, you know, a red or whatever. I just too many colors would work in that space. And so I had Mandy come over and take a look, and she levitated right to this gold and yellow. And I'm like, yep, okay, that works. As long as the decision gets made and we can just get on with the process of making the bracelet. Oh, the difference between my version and the other version too is the fact that in the original version has 26 strings coming down, where mine is 24, right? Because 12 going into the loop makes for a better kumi than trying to put in 13, which doesn't really work well for a kumi. So instead of having 3 knots on either side of the dark blue, it's only 2. Other than that, it really matches the whole pattern. And it was just because I wanted to have a cool kumi loop, you know, that's why I changed it for myself. Mind you, I didn't make a separate pattern for it. I just kind of, looking at the pattern that is available all over my website. Yeah, just looking at it and just like not, you know, just imagining it not being 3 at the edge. So everything, like I said, everything else is perfectly the same. I won't know in the middle of this happens, so let me thank my YouTube members now, because I will forget. It's with their contributions that makes this whole thing possible here. Tutorials and helping you guys with patterns and stuff. It really comes down to, I need to earn a little bit of money to buy the string to keep this whole thing going. So special thanks to all of them. If you guys want to become a member, it's really easy. It's the join button down near the subscribe on YouTube. All you gotta do is hit join. It's $4 a month, and honestly, you guys have no idea how much that really that little bit makes a difference when it's, you know, with a bunch of people helping to contribute. So yeah, thank you guys so much for it. And I do try to give back. I do patterns early for people, for the members, all that kind of stuff. The early videos, you know, just everything that I can do for them, I do. So yeah, I really don't know where I am in this video. It's again, the pattern just, the way that it repeats it could be at the beginning, it could be near the end. It's hard to even tell. The way we'll be able to tell when we get to the end is I start putting knots off to the side, the strings off to the side rather, that I'm done with, and that's the thing. Oh, and trying to figure out, once I figured out where the end was on the right hand side, I still had a struggle to find out where the end was on the left hand side, because of the way the pattern kind of works from left to right. It was rather difficult to find exactly where to go with it, where to cut off. So you'll see I'm like one knot too high, and once I figured it out, I put it in and everything balanced out. But there was a little while there where I was like kind of inching my way along on the left, because I don't want to pass the point, right? Then you have to undo knots, or it just turns out wonky. Things I really wanted to avoid. So yeah. And I kind of feel like I'm making this pattern out to be like really so hard, and it was really, it is a fairly nice, easy pattern. Once you kind of get it going, it wants to just keep going. And that was the inherent problem that I think that I was having with it, was that it does not have like the advantage that other bracelets have to be able to show you an easy ending for it. It's mostly because you just have the light blue past the gold, the light blue and the dark blue. They just kind of keep doing the same things. And it's just, I can't express like how stressful it got for me just towards the end there. But I did it. I mean, I got through it. You will too, I'm sure of it. In fact, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing your guys' versions of this one, because this is a fun bracelet, and I imagine a bunch of you guys are going to want to give this one a try. Yeah, I really wish I can't. I'm trying to count, but I can tell like there's a bunch under the clip. I don't know where I am in the making point part of this. I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, leave it down below. I will get back with you. Hopefully the person who asked for this pattern gets to see this video, and you can see how it came together, and maybe it gives you a little bit of insight for making it. I did share the pattern over on Facebook, like right after I made it, as well as I've shared it with my YouTube members over on, it used to be the community tab. Now I think it's posts. I don't know. There's like a new tab on YouTube. Well, a renamed tab on YouTube. Used to be community, now it's posting. But yeah, the pattern is out over there as well. The weird part about that is, of course, is like I put out the patterns early for my YouTube members in YouTube, but then when you guys get to watch this video, like if you're not a member and you're watching this, the pattern would be available over on my website, akaAWOL.com. Just go into the tutorials and you can find the pattern over there. There's couple different ways that you can either just go through all the tutorials, or there's like a patterns page where you can kind of see samples of the patterns, and then that'll help you to find the actual page where it's on. Yeah. I keep getting really afraid that like we're at the end of the video and then I'm gonna forget to say my lines and end it properly, but I can't tell where it is because of the repetition. It doesn't, I can't count from the top to see how far down it is. I don't know where we are. Looks like I'm still plugging along. Once it gets to the end and you start losing the strings off to the side, it'll make more sense for me. So kind of looking for that to happen. It doesn't appear to have happened yet. I want to do blindside creations again. I need you guys to submit pattern ideas for me to try messing with. All you gotta do is give me the pattern number, the number of strings, so I can have a template ready, and which website your pattern number came from, because there's a couple of websites that have numbers for their patterns. And I want to make sure I'm doing the one that you wanted, not one from the other website instead. Trying to think if there's anything else that I can tell you. Oh, I think I pretty much made it kind of clear. This is not a very beginner-friendly pattern. Only because there's a lot of zigzags, there's a lot of balancing things out. It's 24 strings. It is a little bit harder. Oh, those are strings off to the side. This is it. This is coming into the final stretch. Cool. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's advanced either. I wouldn't say this is so difficult as to discourage you from trying it, but it is sort of challenging, at least to, you know, the bringing the end together and getting it all nice and even and stuff. That part was a lot harder than I was ready for. But yeah, this is coming into the end. I was gonna say, like, wow, I really let it get way away from the clip, like you almost off the screen, but then just like the champ that I am, scooched it up. Yeah, and you can see me kind of hesitating over on the left-hand side now, right? Like, does the blue go down more? Does it not? Yeah. Yeah, there's like one more row that gets added onto the left-hand side. But yeah, if you make this, I'd like to see it. Definitely try your own colors. Maybe some tan and brown with a gold or a rich red would be really fun. Or maybe you do it in purples. Maybe you do it in greens. I don't know. It could be done so many different ways. It could be really cool. See, there goes that row on the left again. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's been a lot of fun. If you have questions, leave it in the comments. And of course, as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.